This is really nice event that the city's been doing for the last couple of years, and I appreciate everybody who's here tonight to take part in this. And I just want to, when you do become involved in politics and being on different boards, you can't do it without the support of your family. And I just like Judy, she's been with me all these years. So. 56 this Christmas Day. So. But anyway, put the slides up of the council, introduce the council, our council members who are here tonight with us. And so in the back we have Cal Rolson, who's District 2. Mark Crail, who's on vacation tonight, he's District 4. John Tucker, District 3. Harmon Massey, at large. And on the bottom row we have Chrissy Stile, at large, myself, in the middle, and Lori Tillett, District 1. Have a round of applause for these guys. I did some soul searching and to find out what to talk about. These, when you do something like this on a yearly basis, you wonder what kind of topics can you talk about. And last year there was a topic that was that Dr. Levy, our economic development consultant, talked about, and about our growth and how we can look into the future and things like that, and the stable ground that we were on. But he was going to do it through it from a different kind of standpoint, and I want to do it from what we actually are doing in the city to come up with it. So the theme of tonight's State of the City was called Growth and Preservation, and so we'll see how we go with everything. So with that, I'm going to get started. And so, okay, your city council continues to grow in their experience on the job and their dedication and commitment to the citizens of Mount Dora. They take the time to educate themselves with specialized courses from the Institute for Elected Municipal Officials, which is called the EMO. They engage in volunteer work throughout the city, and they serve on various boards associated with Mount Dora, Lake County, and state organizations. They're around the city representing their districts in a professional and courteous manner. When you see one of your council members, stop and say hi. We love meeting as many of you as possible in a personal setting. I served on many boards throughout my life, and I can proudly say that this group of council members is the best by a wide margin. Our city meetings are standing room only. We listen to the public, interact with civility, and vote on what we feel is best for the city as a whole. We need to stay vigilant and make sure we always deliver to the residents the best city government that they deserve. The City Council reaffirmed our strategic plan for another year, ranking them in a priority order. One is economic development and growth management. Our second one is infrastructure. The third is resources with both financial and human. Fourth one is communication. And our fifth strategic plan is public safety. I picked the theme for this year's State of the City, Growth and Preservation, because these two topics are on everybody's minds. There are those who think we cannot have both at the same time, but I hope this State of the City message will show that they can coexist. As I stated in previous messages, newsletters, and public events, the area east of Mount Dora will grow. How we respond to that growth potential that is on our doorstep will determine how Mount Dora will look in the future. We can do one of two things. We can bury our heads in the sand and let the future growth take its own course, or wisely lay down a growth plan to secure our economic and residential status in the region. Personally, I want our City Council, guided by our staff and consultants, to require that the future growth to the east will conform in a way that sets the standard for development. That standard needs to spell out clearly the quality of place and the quality of life that is associated with Mount Dora. We owe it to the future generations of Mount Dorans. Our downtown is Mount Dora's greatest asset. Current and past councils have committed to maintaining the quaintness and charm of our downtown. We need to make sure that our decisions lay the groundwork for the future councils that will adhere to the basic concept that Mount Dora's downtown is a tourist destination. Dr. Richard Levy, our economic development consultant, recently told me that whatever we do it quirkily, quirky. That's where I'm trying to get that word out. It's quirky. So anyway, some of our accomplishments. The City Council, along with the City Manager, and many accomplishments this past year, and the city staff is an integral part of what happens in our city government. They are a knowledgeable, dedicated group of individuals who love the city and want it to be successful. I will go through some of the city's accomplishments this past year that were in line with the strategic plan. Economic Development and Growth Management. The City Council accepted the Economic Development Master Plan as presented by Renaissance Planning Group. This plan lays out the conceptual elements around the joint planning area with Lake County. It helps to establish the variety of future developmental opportunities that the city hopes to attract in this area. The city hired an economic development manager, Tim Wilson, this year and is realigning the duties of the deputy city clerk, Miss Misty Summers, and to assist the new manager with economic development. The council extended the annexation fee waiver for another year to those properties in the JPA area wishing to become part of our city limits. The City Council almost adopted design standards for future residential development on the east side of the city to assist Lake County and our neighboring communities and maintain a quaint rural way of life. These design standards align with the goals that the Lake County Commissioners want for the development in the eastern part of our city. Our downtown, the Northeast, Highland, and Golden Triangle areas are all part of our economic development strategy and will be addressed through separate meetings with various agencies. We are well underway in completing the Wi-Fi bandwidth, the fiber optic connection in the downtown community redevelopment area, and the City Council approved the Downtown Entertainment District to promote a pleasant tourist experience while shopping and dining in the Mount Dora. Under infrastructure, unfortunately, we are still talking about parking issues. But, however, on a positive note, during this past year, our city manager was able to start laying the foundation for the beginning of several projects that should result in additional parking spaces in our downtown. The largest being the purchase of property on 3rd and Baker. Our planned use for this property will be for surface parking, along with much needed restroom facilities for our downtown guests. The city is entertaining conversations from developers and other entities that might be interested in entering into a P3, also known as a public-private partnership, in our downtown and nearby areas. We also reviewed previous decisions on parking and revised what was necessary. We initiated 4-hour parking and specified loading zones in the downtown. Our city manager combined several ongoing projects, and the City Council approved the long-term bonding to fund them. Those projects include the purchase of land for future building needs, such as the Public Works facility on Lemon Avenue, and some parking solutions. Council approved the funding to start work on the recommended fire stations. These new stations will replace the worn-out station on Route 19 and an overutilized station at the Joint Police Fire Building at Lincoln and Donley. This funding allows the city to strategically position a new 3rd station, which will shorten our response time to the downtown area. The Fitch report recommended that this area needs a better response time because of the age of the structures in the downtown. The combination of all these 3 stations, these fire and rescue units, will take care of our current and future growth for many years to come, as well as maintain our quality service and response times. Our Parks Department is now working with the tree report that prioritized in detail the work needed to maintain our tree canopy and our Tree City status. Our city crews continue to do outstanding work for our residents. Our Public Works Department started work on drainage issues in the northeast part of the city. They're upgrading the stormwater drainage throughout the boundaries of the Northeast CRA. This project will ensure proper drainage flow to our main system and greatly reduce the water retention in the front yards throughout the Northeast. The Community Development Block Grant Program funded this project. Our electric department has been staying busy replacing old wooden poles with new concrete poles. Our utility linemen have been completing a variety of lighting and lamp replacements throughout our city with newer, efficient LED lighting. Our economic development consultant, Dr. Richard Levy, recently presented to the council a revised planning layout and acreage modifications to enhance the viability of our Wolf Branch Innovation District for the future commercial and residential developers. The revised plan lays out a vision for the reduced landmass and identifies street and roadway configurations to complement existing trends in traffic control. Dr. Levy also introduced a new feature for the commercial gateway near the Round Lake Road and Route 46 intersection. This gateway will house the commercial components of the Wolf Branch Innovation District, such as shopping, retail, and professional buildings. He is also recommending an alternative trail system to afford connectivity along the Waukiva Trail with existing and future housing. Our city will be coordinating with the Lake Sumter Metropolitan Planning Organization for the preliminary alignment studies. Dr. Levy's modification allows for a structured growth plan while preserving the character of the rural environment, all throughout that east side of the Mount Dora area. The City Council adopted design and building standards suggested by Lake County in this region to be consistent with the rural surrounding of that area. Our city utility is a regional supplier of water and sewer services. This utility service provides vital protection to the environment, helping to keep our residents safe and our lakes clean. Recent city projects have improved our environmental footprint in the region. The City of Mount Dora, along with the City of Popka and the St. John's Water Management Authority, recently held a groundbreaking ceremony. That ceremony officially kicked off the construction of the interconnection between the Mount Dora, Apopka, Seminole, and Lake counties and the St. John's Water Management Authority. This connection will bring reclaimed water to Mount Dora. This green project is receiving grant funds over $500,000. Our city's utility department is extending a large regional style sewer lift station near the Round Lake Road and the Route 46 area. The city and Seminole County have secured a State Department of Economic Development grant of over $1.5 million to advance sustainable growth to this region. This construction project will have capacity to serve the future residential growth and development of the Wolf Branch Innovation Area District of the city, and this will be the catalyst for developers to commit to this area. Resources, both our financial and human, under this area, under the leadership of the city manager, the city recently hired a new finance director, Matt Dickey. It took time to fill this position, but I sense with his expertise and experience, he will keep Mount Dora moving forward with our fiscal management and high standards while allowing our city manager to concentrate on other projects. As we enter our budget season, the City Council is always mindful of the wishes of the residents to maintain quality service from all of our departments, while at the same time maintaining an affordable tax rate. Mount Dora, through its growth over the last few years, was able to stabilize its tax rate with the quality of life and quality of place. Our Someplace Special keeps attracting new businesses and new residents. On an annual basis, the City Council approves various fees and policies that affect the financial position of the city. Some of our annual items include our fee structures, our purchasing policies, our fund balance policy, which was increased from 10 to 17% to ensure proper cash balances for future projects, and all of our investment policies. Mount Dora has a strong financial structure. We acquired an excellent Standard & Poor's bond rating of AA-, which allows Mount Dora to borrow the necessary project funds at a much lower rate. A forensic audit, which was started in 2017, is now closed, and our city manager satisfactorily addressed any management comments. The city obtained a SAFER grant that will allow additional firefighters over the next 3 years. SAFER is an acronym for Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response. Mount Dora, as in the past years, continues to have property values higher than other municipalities. Mount Dora has a reputation as the place to live, work, and play. A reputation the City Council values and cherishes along with the residents. Our employees continue to be the most valued and cherished resource that we have. It is difficult to list everything our employees do for our residents. All of our departments are interconnected and dependent on each other to be fully functional. I will attempt to highlight some of what they do. Recently, our Leisure Service Department created and implemented partnerships with the Round Lake Charter School, which includes 3 summer camp programs and an after-school program. Our library was the fastest growing in 2017-18 with an 11% increase in circulation. We now feature the Mount Dora Archives, a collection of historical photographs which are available online. The library offers Saturday and Sunday reading programs for children to increase their literacy. The city moved our IT department from the Parks and Recreation Building to a space in City Hall. This move allowed the IT department to function closely with administration, decreasing computer downtime and increasing productivity. The city reorganized our customer service department with the finance department, promoted a current staff member to a supervisor position, and hired 2 additional part-time positions to assist in providing the quality service to our customers. We continue to offer health care to our employees at a city-operated wellness center. This program helps to reduce insurance costs to the city and increases in the employee productivity. Our Public Works is constantly working on our infrastructure. They are either expanding or maintaining our existing structures. They work diligently in rebuilding the catastrophic landslide in the Dogwood Mountain Reserve caused by Hurricane Irma. When the project was completed, the displaced homeowner was returned to her home. Our utility department maintains the electrical transmission lines, which produces a constant flow of electricity for our customers. Our outages are short. They maintain a strong inventory of spare parts and specialized equipment to complete projects in a timely manner when the emergencies do occur. Our reclaimed water, wastewater, and sanitation workers maintain miles of pipe, wells, lift stations, and treatment plants. They hold the proper qualifying certifications needed by the regulatory agencies. When I go around the city, residents frequently stop me to tell me how great our staff is and how they treat them. And I say thank you to all of you who stop and say and give me those praises to our staff. I always advocated that our city employees are our ambassadors to the residents and to our visitors. City Council implemented a financial policy to make our employee salaries competitive with the marketplace. It does not make sense to invest in training an employee to do a job only to lose them to another city for a slightly higher pay. Since implementation, our employee retention rate has improved. The city cannot function without our attorney, Ms. Sherry Sufton. Council appointed her law firm to assist the city manager with all the various legal tasks of contract and ordinance review. She works with our standing committees. She assists our ad hoc committees with administering their stated missions. She reviews all of our resolutions and ordinances. She attends all of our council meetings. Bottom line, she keeps us out of trouble. Communications. Under communications, we have the communications made it on our list of strategic priorities. Our public information officer, Lisa McDonald. Lisa. Oh, she's taking pictures of everything. Good job. Lisa publishes a monthly newsletter to keep residents abreast of the goings-on throughout the city. She includes my monthly remarks to the Mount Dora in the newsletters. She also puts together numerous programs and presentations for the City Council and staff. She releases press releases to all of the news outlets and is instrumental in coordinating the advertising for our city as a tourist attraction and someplace special. She works closely with the police department on their public information concerns. Your council members communicate directly with the residents and businesses within their respective districts through emails, newsletters, and personal contacts. We are never too busy to address your concerns. Our city manager, Robin Hayes, is the queen of communication and transparency. She clearly reflects the City Council's wishes with all the numerous items she posts on the city's website for each of the City Council's public meetings. The capital budget alone was over 1,200 pages. When I first ran for City Council, I promised to work towards a better communications, transparency, accountability, and making the citizens number one. These goals were achieved and continue to improve. Under public safety, just because this area is fifth on our list does not diminish its importance. The City Council recognizes that public safety is why people form a city government. When our early ancestors started gathering in groups, they felt secure. Those groups then started to get together and soon became villages and towns. People wanted a sense of security and well-being, so they provided themselves with a level of protection that they could afford. Mount Dora Police Department earned the distinction of being the first in the nation to achieve accreditation. As of this writing, the Mount Dora Police Department earned the Excelsior level, the highest level and most coveted. They received the recognition on June the 26th. Congratulations on what a job well done, guys. Very good. When a police officer pulls one of us over for an infraction, it might be the first time we have an encounter with an officer. Our police officers are trained to make this experience as pleasant as possible. And they do a good job on that. Mount Dora PD prides itself on its community policing efforts. You will see them out in the neighborhoods, getting to know our residents. We even placed an officer in the downtown on a Segway vehicle to assist with the tourist and the parking issues. Our acclaimed fire department initiated the process of accreditation. When they are successful, the city will be eligible for a better ISO rating, which usually reduces insurance rates for the city, businesses, and property owners. As mentioned earlier, your fire department will be the recipient of three new buildings located in a strategic arrangement to minimize the response time to our most cherished asset, our downtown. The new placements will enhance response times throughout the city and increase a person's chance of a successful outcome when they make an emergency call. Our firefighters and emergency personnel enjoy their jobs. I know that most residents only see our fire safety personnel and equipment at public events, but believe me, they are a busy group of individuals. They are constantly maintaining equipment, conducting training, taking classes, responding to numerous calls, and most importantly, they know how to cook a good meal. And what's in our future? As I mentioned last year, the City Hall has been a beehive of activity. Our staff and City Council have been busy with numerous joint workshops this past year. These workshops serve a dual purpose. The first is for the City Council to see and hear firsthand about upcoming resolutions and ordinances. We get the opportunity to ask questions of our city manager and staff so that we can make informed decisions on items affecting the city. The other purpose is to allow for staff interaction with council members, which gives our department heads an opportunity to keep their individual plans in line with the city's strategic plan, as well as allowing our council members to place items on future agendas. I want to reemphasize how involved your city council is on behalf of the residents. Last year, I reported that we were looking at the post office property on 7th and Donnelly for a possible parking structure. Since the current post office has moved already, as of today they're gone from 7th and Donnelly, and they're over at the Mount Dora Plaza now. Unfortunately, we recently found out that the owners of the property were only interested in leasing the property, whereas the city was interested in owning the property. After a couple of years and many discussions, we could not reach an agreement that was in the best interest of the city. However, we are not dismissing the possibility of a private-public partnership that could result in an outcome benefiting the city with a future owner. The City Council entered into a long-term financing arrangement that allows the city manager to seek out property to build out much-needed public works building and the 3 new fire stations that I mentioned earlier in this report. The city recently purchased the following land: the property on Limit that will house our public works department and a fire station, then the property at 3rd and Baker that will be converted to a 50-plus surface parking spaces along with the much-needed restroom facility. The city has constantly evaluated potential future land purchases to house 2 more fire stations. The city also is in need of open space to locate recreational parks for our residents' use. These new spaces will conform to our park master plan. Through the city manager, the City Council is working closely with our finance department in developing the city's 2019-2020 final budget. This process starts around April and concludes by the end of September each year. Our fiscal year is from October 1st through September the 30th. The council meets with all the departments, all the directors at work sessions, which are open to the public, and we go over the 5-year capital improvement needs for the upcoming year and beyond. As a council, we stress to the staff to put items in the budget that provide the services that the residents want. We stress to each department, we address each department's staffing, space requirements, supplies, and other miscellaneous necessities. We do not micromanage the process and leave that part of the process up to the city manager and our directors. As mentioned earlier, our quality of life and place affect our property values. Mount Dora is on the top of the list for being the place to live. Lakes of Mount Dora, a gated 55-plus community, filed paperwork to build out its neighborhood to 1,032 homes. These homes have an average selling price in the range of the high $300,000 range. The City Council approved the 300-plus neighborhood at the Wolf Branch and Round Lake Road intersection. It's called Timberwalk. This neighborhood will be the first one constructed using the new standards. The City of Mount Dora always entertained plans and ideas from developers and local business owners to enhance the properties for future commercial and residential growth. Mount Dora residents' sellable housing stock had always been low because of our reputation as someplace special. These new plans and projects will eventually fill that void and provide the necessary land and residential units so sorely needed in Mount Dora. When you go downtown, you may notice renovated older buildings with some new businesses popping up. Our largest success was the acquisition of Steamroller Studios on 3rd and Baker in the large gray building owned by G3. They have been great partners, and their employees are big users of our existing restaurants and shops. We thank them for being part of the Mount Dora family. Mount Dora will soon be home to a new concept in downtown business area. The Mount Dora Marketplace will soon occupy the Lost Parrot restaurant, along with the Nook and Cranny consignment store. This marketplace will feature shops, food, beer, wine, Tapa-style food, and a beer garden concept. The owners of this new plan are very excited along with our residents. I am hopeful that over the next year, this council will commit to a time schedule to finish our streetscape program that will further stimulate renovation. All of our new buildings, businesses, and homes are keeping our planning department on their toes. Mount Dora is evolving, a term I believe I used last year. Our team, which consists of the residents, council members, and staff, laid a solid foundation which allowed us to develop into a city that knows that it can build on its past and grow into the future. The City Council established an ad hoc committee to review and modify our siding ordinance to keep pace with the new development. Our planned growth starts with well-founded and flexible design standards to allow Mount Dora to enjoy its eclectic heritage and move to the next level. As our city grows, so will our services. Many of the items we review and pass at regular meetings let us take advantage of the potential opportunities which will meet the current and future needs of our residents. The City Council has committed resources to upgrade our parks, as well as looking for new land to build future parks in the growth areas. Mount Dora is blessed to have so many people who care about the future of this city. I remember an encounter I had with a couple who dressed up as the characters Mr. and Mrs. Donnelly and who take part in some of our special events. I shook hands with them and thanked Mr. Donnelly for founding our city, and he replied to me, "Thank you for taking care of my city." His reply meant so much to me, and it still does. What he said to me is what we all need to do to take care of someplace special. My father taught me years ago that when you borrow something from a friend, such as a stepladder, lawnmower, fishing rod, or anything for that matter, return it in the same or better condition than when it was handed to you. Our past council's administrators have laid down a foundation which enables our current council to take advantage of the economic uptick we are currently experiencing. We have approached our long-term debt based on the sound accounting principles and marketplace conditions. The council is committed to the well-being of the citizens and taking care of what our founding fathers left us. I strongly believe that I answered the question I posed at the beginning of this State of the City. Mount Dora can grow its boundaries and population while at the same time maintaining its quality of life and quality of place. We can have both, growth and preservation. So it is now my distinct pleasure as your mayor of the city of Mount Dora to announce that the State of the City is strong.
Mount Dora is a small, quaint town with a lot going on.
Mount Dora is like a secret garden where you can find all these charming activities, families having fun and learning and growing.
It has all these different little things that people can do, the boat show, the seafood fest, the art festivals, these beautiful historical buildings.
Mount Dora has the best festivals, the local merchants, the restaurants downtown, and if you just want to take a walk, we're out here on the lake.
We still have this small knit community, but yet we have access to Orlando and we have access to all the amenities around us.
I think tourism attracts a lot of people to Mount Dora. We have the restaurants and the festivals, but what people don't realize is it's also a great place to live and work.
Mount Dora is a wonderful place to live, a wonderful place to worship, a great place to raise your children.
Mount Dora has tons of housing options. High-end neighborhoods to starter homes, we've got apartments, and even some really cute historic homes.
This is a place to be when you look at the planning that's going on and some of the things that people are thinking about. They are thinking about the quality of the schools, the infrastructure.
When we were discussing about building a campus and being a place where we feel we are welcome.
You have this special place where it's safe for your family, it's fun for the kids, but still, if you need to go to your office, it's closed. There are work areas everywhere in Mount Dora. The people are great. I love Mount Dora.